Hi there, my name is Michael Gillespie.
And I'm Amy Taylor.
And welcome to our review of The Cabin in the Woods. I used the word review tentatively there because it may just become something of a two-sided rant.
Yeah.
Now, the film has, of course, had glowing reviews. It's been very well received. Certainly, Joss Wheddon fans have been absolutely, in ecstasy over this thing. Amy, what did you think?
The whole idea of The Cabin in the Woods, it's deconstructing horror, and it's difficult to review because then you can't really say much because you don't want to spoil it.
We can say that it's a meta-narrative.
Yes,
it's along the lines of Scream or one of these kind of things. Deconstructing horror, it's done in horror movies quite a lot anyway.
Yeah.
You look at the best of, this film makes specific references to the likes of Sam Raimi, Clive Barker.
Yeah.
Those guys were already deconstructing horror ideas in their work. So what you have with this, for me, is it's all surface, no feeling. You have all the surface of these old horror movies, 70s horror films, all these Cabin in the Woods, all these other things. You have all the surface, absolutely none of the depth. It's an unbelievably shallow film. And also, the characters are completely cardboard. It's impossible to have, even in Scream, it was obviously self-reflexive and everything else, but you at least had characters that were reasonably engaging and at least had a narrative that was propulsive and moved along and was pacey and twists and all these things. This is it's unbelievably flat. It's got unlikable, but not even remotely interesting characters. There's all these clever gags that aren't actually that funny or that clever, really. People have been going on with this brilliant dialogue. The only line I thought was kind of funny was the one about tequila is my lady, right? Where the guy shouts tequila is my lady. Everything else, I generally love to know what these immense quotable lines are. I'm kind of at a loss.
I think I am too. When you see the dialogue's being highlighted, I thought there was dialogue in this movie. It was a very, very visual movie because it was all about. What I hate about modern horror is it was all about CGI and how we can get people to jump. So the fact that the characters were talking in the film was really inconsequential. It was just moving on to the next monster that they've ripped off somebody else. Yeah,
but it never scared me. I maybe jumped once or twice, but it never really worked for me as a horror film.
Psychologically, it doesn't get under your skin. It just jumps at you. I love horrors that get under your skin and really get into your head. And
another problem with it is it's obviously. I suppose one film you could compare it to is Funny Games, Michael Haneke. Now, I don't like that film, right? I think that's a really condescending and pompous film. But it's far more interesting than this does. The thing is, this understands the thrills that its audience want to get from it. It's obviously respectful of the genre, but at the same time, it's doing this thing where it seems to actually what it's actually doing more than anything is it's trying to sort of get away with things. In that it's that postmodern thing that means never having to say you're sorry. It's trying to get away with things that it knows are not reprehensible, but it knows are pretty tacky and trashy and not very interesting, like the nudity, for example. So rather than just showing the nude scene, they have to make a big deal of the fact that you have all these people watching it and how, look at us. And again, it's this sort of sense of, aren't we being so postmodern and clever because we're looking at nudity ironically. Everything's so we're doing everything with a kind of nod and a wink, and it's not clever, it's not interesting, it's not big, it's not actually that unique. And if you've read any number of academic texts on horror, like Carol J. Clover, and most proper horror fans have, then there is absolutely nothing new being brought here whatsoever, and that was written way back in the 1990. Still absolutely nothing new to add here. And if you've seen any other postmodern takes on horror, like Scream, nothing new to add here. If you've seen more serious intellectual attempts to deconstruct horror, like also something like Funny Games, obviously The Peeping Tom is an absolute masterpiece. Or even if you look at something like Cronenberg's Crash, which again was about the commodification, the making of pornography, these kind of things in a metaphorical sense. This is kind of doing a similar thing about the commodification of horror and horrors. Again, this doesn't do it anywhere near as interestingly as Cronenberg's film. So for me, the whole thing is just dead in the water, frankly. I just sat there and thought, really?
Yeah, and all the praise I've read about The Cabin in the Woods, the three words keep coming up: original, refreshing and game changer. And this is none of these things. This film, it's it had the opportunity to go somewhere completely different, and it just didn't. This is the problem I have with it. I know you have with it as well. Is nothing really happens. It just follows the cabin in the woods theme, and nothing major happens to completely disrupt it. I would say uninspired, really. And they were thinking about releasing it in 3D. Thank God they didn't, because that would just be another gimmick. No.